Let me see. Oh, there. Okay. I will be streaming on YouTube as well as on in Facebook Messenger tonight. So this is something new for me. So I hope you all will bear with me. I'm super excited about what we're going to share tonight. If you just jumped in, hey, um, um hey, I'm in. I was getting ready to say, hey, Miss Lola. Thank y'all for joining in. If you want to, like I said, turn your cameras on or off. I would love to see your face, but I totally understand. And can everybody see me and hear me? Okay, we good? Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna give people about 3 to 5, about 3 minutes. And at 8:35, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Hey, Nisi, thank you for joining. Glad to see everybody's face on tonight. Hey, Marie, thank you for joining. And I wish there was a way because, and if somebody knows this is the first time. If somebody knows, I wish I could share my screen with y'all. I wish I knew how to do that. So that you could see.
There is a button that says share your screen, I think.
Okay, let me see.
Right at the bottom of the screen, it says share your screen.
Okay, let me see. Okay, let me see if I could do this. Hey, Morgan, thank you for joining.
Hello.
On mine, it's not giving me an option to do a share screen. It's just giving a split view where I could see my presentation, but not where I could share my screen.
Okay.
If not,
The
it's
little box. Okay, go ahead.
gosh, I hate that. Let me see. Split. Oh no, I don't want that. Yeah, because I could see where I could. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on, Tanisha. Share. Oh, here we go. I think I might have found it. Okay, let's see.
It does say you're sharing, but I don't see anything.
Okay. It looks like it's winding up on everything included will be enabled. Do not disturb. Okay. Let me put that. Y'all, thank you for being patient with me this evening. This is new to do all this on here for me. Let me see if I can. Your camera is off and you're ready to share. Why is my camera off? Screen. Can y'all see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay. Hold on. Let me see here. Everything on your screen, including your notifications, will be. I was trying to make sure that nothing else was coming up while we were on here. And let
Okay,
me.
there we go.
You can see my screen now. Okay, let me.
We can.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so let me put on here. I think it's on the control center. Is that how I do this, y'all? On do not disturb. What do I put? Do not. Do y'all know anybody can tell me quickly how to get there on do not disturb? Because I don't want my emails and stuff coming through here while we on this call. Nobody. Okay, it's all right. All right. Okay, I'm gonna go back. You can see. Y'all can see my screen now.
You
Yes.
just stop sharing.
I just stopped sharing. Okay. Everything you okay? Y'all can't. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is gonna frustrate me, and I don't want to get frustrated. Okay, your camera is off. Why is it saying my camera is off? My camera not
So,
off.
so when you're sharing,
Uh huh.
it does not show your picture.
Oh, okay. Thank you for saying that.
Sure.
Okay, but you all can't see my screen, can you?
No, we cannot at the moment.
Okay. Can you right now?
No.
No, still can't. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Let me try this again. Thank you
Your
all for your
picture is back
patience.
now. Your picture was back, and now it's saying that you're starting to share.
Okay. Let's see if it's going to let me do what it need to do. Because it's on my screen, it's blinking, saying everything on your screen, including notifications, will be recorded and able do not disturb to prevent unexpected notifications. But yeah. Okay. I don't know what I did when you all could see me. I'm not sure what I was doing in that moment, but I don't want to hold you all up. And it's 8:37, and I believe in starting on time. So let's go back. And if I can get it going again, I will. If not, I ain't gonna worry about it. Okay. Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing? I know I asked everybody to get on mute. Good, 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 good. Well, good evening for all of you all who are just joining. I'm super excited about being here. This is a new platform. I've done lives before, I've taught classes before, but I've never been in Messenger. So this is brand new. So we were trying to figure out how I could share my screen with you all while I was doing this. And for some reason, I don't know what I'm doing that's wrong, and it's not letting me share my screen, which is a little frustrating because I really want you all to see what is um what is going on. I'm gonna try this one more time, y'all. If it doesn't do it this time, I'm not gonna worry about it, and we just gonna go on because I don't like holding people up, and we're gonna go from there. Okay, so I am streaming on you through YouTube as well as on in this particular, of course, platform, which is on Facebook Messenger, which is really cool. And I wanted to do this because I wanted to make sure that I could hopefully see you all and you all could actually engage back with me as opposed to us just hearing me talk, right? So first of all, good evening, everybody. I'm super excited about you all being here. Can you all see me or no? Because it's saying I know it's trying to cast, but I don't know what's going on.
We cannot see you,
You cannot see me.
nor
Okay.
nor your screen.
Nor my screen. Thank you, Tanisha. Okay. So we just gonna leave that alone and I'm just gonna go ahead and go. So here we go. All right. So good evening. Thank you all for joining me tonight. If you are new here or have never been on a call, which I'm sure all of us have, go ahead and mute yourself for right now. Feel free to turn your camera on. If you want your camera on, I would love to see your face. If not, I totally understand. But welcome to Balance and Boundaries. This is a master class that I will be sharing with you all tonight. And I'm super excited about being able to share this information with you because one of the things that I have found is that so often people struggle with balance and setting firm boundaries the most out of almost everything that they do in life. And that is always the question that people often have is how do I balance it all? Whether you're in business, whether you're not in business, whether you're a mom, whether you're not a mom, whether you're working, whatever it is, people are always in this space of how do I balance it all? I got to do this, I got to do that. Where do I begin? How do I juggle all these things in my hand? So tonight, I'm super excited about sharing some things that I have learned over the course of my lifetime. Um, it has not been easy. I have juggled a whole lot. And I feel like I'm at a place now that I have been able to create a space in my life where I am truly able to balance all of the balls that are in my hands at this moment. And I want to share those things with you all tonight. And I hope you came ready to share. I hope you came ready to learn. And I hope you came ready to receive. That is the main thing that I always ask in every class that I teach, whenever I'm in a space. It's no sense in you coming into this space and having a closed heart and a closed mind. I just pray that you will have an open mind, an open heart to receive what I'm going to share tonight. So, most of you all in this room, of course, know who I am. But for those who don't, let me introduce myself. My name is Matia Hunter. I am a wife. I am a mom of two beautiful children. I am what they would consider a serial entrepreneur. Of course, by trade, I am a licensed cosmetologist. I've been in the beauty industry for almost 20 years, as well as my husband and I own a funeral home in Northeastern Carolina that we have had for about 6 years now. And so, but one of the greatest joys that I have is actually helping women set boundaries and create balance so that they can live the life that they desire. Of course, you all know that we've already put ourselves on mute, so everybody good with that. And if you could put yourself on mute, if you're not on mute, go ahead and do that for me. But I want you to think about all the things that you juggle, right? Think about how you're handling it right now. And the thing about it is, if you're here, it probably means that you may not be juggling it very well. And so tonight we're going to share a few keys, a few tricks, a few things that I have come to use in my everyday life that helps me juggle all of the balls that are in my hands. So now that we're here, I want you to close your eyes. Go ahead and mute yourself, whoever's just joining. I want you to close your eyes. I know you all don't, a lot of you all don't have your cameras on. That's perfectly fine. But I want you to close your eyes and I want you to envision a juggler. We're going to take it all the way back to when we were, children or had taken our children to the circus. And when you think about the juggler, I want you to envision when they first come onto the stage, they have maybe one item in their hand and they're putting that one ball up. Then somebody throws in another ball. Now they're juggling two things. Then a third thing, then a fourth thing. And they're juggling them all. And I want you to really envision those balls being the things that you are responsible for in this moment. It may be being a wife, maybe your one ball, being a mom, maybe another ball, managing your business, maybe another ball, taking care of a loved one is another ball. And you're juggling all of these balls, right? And I want you to not just think about all the things that you're juggling, but I really want you to focus on how you're handling what is in your hand. How are you handling that? And most of us, if we were honest, we probably would say we may not be juggling them very well. So I know you may be saying to yourself, like, am I in the right place? I don't even know if I'm supposed to be in this class. So this class is all about, and if you can answer any of these questions, you're in the right place. So if you're having trouble with balancing everything, if you're struggling with how to figure out which task to prioritize, or if you're feeling overwhelmed because you have so many balls that you are juggling at one time, you're in the right place. Can anybody attest, say, yeah, I'm in the right place? You can take yourself off mute for a second. Anybody?
I'm in the right place.
You in the right place. Awesome. We're in the right place. So, and thank you all, whoever have, you're in the right place. Yes, we in the right place. In the right place. Awesome. So I want to give you guys a few keys. This is not a long class. This is really what we consider a master class. So in a master class, we are very laser focused on looking at what the problem is and creating a solution, providing a solution. So I want to give you guys tonight, and this is where you probably want to write this down. I want to give you guys 5 keys to bringing balance into your life. 5 keys. It's gonna be 5. And I hate that I can't share my screen with you guys because I put together a real cute presentation and I want y'all to see it. But I can always email it to you at the end. Okay. So the first thing is you have to realize that there will never be complete balance. I don't want to bust your bubble, but that's number one. That was my biggest challenge as I approached all of the roles and responsibilities that I had in life. I felt as if I had to give 100% to everything at all times. And once I released that there will never be complete balance, I was able to get my peace back, and I was able really to navigate one role at a time. Number one, realize there will never be complete balance. That's number one. That's a hurdle that you have to get over in your mind, because it all begins with the mind, right? And when you think about people who often deal with any type of addictions or any type of problems or whatever, the first thing that they always tell you is you got to recognize that there's a problem. And that really is where the problem lies within most of us. And why we feel so overwhelmed and why we feel like we can't create balance is because we're thinking that we can give 100% to everything at all times, at all moments. And let me dispel that myth for you. It will not happen. It can't. You are a human being that can only handle a few things at a time. And sometimes you may only be able to handle one thing at a time. So that's the first thing. You want to realize that there will never be complete balance. You have to learn that. And I want you to think about that. The reason that I put that as number one, because let's think about it. If you're working on your relationship, you cannot give that same amount of energy. And when I say working, like actively working, you cannot give that same amount of energy to every other thing, because your priority in that moment is your relationship, or your priority in that moment is building a brand, or your priority in that moment is creating a family. Whatever your priority is in that moment, that's what I want you to focus on. There will never be complete balance. Number two, I want you to get this down is, first of all, you have to identify what your purpose is. I'm going to say that one again. Identify what your purpose is. Let me tell you why that's so important. The reason why it is important to know your purpose and what you've been called to do, and that calling is not just about a gift. It's not just about, oh, I've been called to teach. I've been called to do this or that. It may be in this moment, I'm called to be someone's mother. I'm called to be someone's wife. I am called to run my businesses. And that is what I am solely committed to in this moment. Keep in mind that this can change at any time. But in this moment, I have to identify my purpose. What is the reason that I have been sent to earth? Why am I here? Once I identify what my purpose is, this is where you can get laser focused. Because this is what I had to learn along the way. I only commit to what aligns with my purpose. That is the only thing that I commit to. And what I want you to understand is, it doesn't mean that other things are not good for you. It just means it's not good for you in this moment. And it doesn't mean that it's not good at all. It's just not good for you. So if I know that I've committed myself to, building my brand, right? You all know that, of course. If you don't know, I'm a licensed cosmetologist. In this moment, I'm building my brand as a cosmetologist, and I'm working on my goals that I've set for my cosmetology, for my career. Another class may come up, another thing may come up that actually may be very enticing, may be very good. But the reason that I'm not going to do those things is because it's not linked to my purpose. And I feel like a lot of times we get overwhelmed and we get disheveled because we're committing to things that are not linked to your purpose. You have to get clear on why you're here, what you are committed to, and the things that are assigned to you in this moment. And like I always say, that can change. It can change. But in this moment, I want you to look at where you are right now. Seasons do change, and it's okay. And it may be a no for right now, but it may be a yes later on. Let me give you an example. Several years ago, I ended up creating my own brand of cosmetics, right? And off the break, I must say, thankfully, that when I opened up my brand and launched my cosmetic line, it did very well. It just did. It did very well. It was right before the pandemic happened. Things were going great. My sales were good. We were in there. The pandemic happened. Some things changed in my family dynamic. I had my son had some needs that he needed to be attended to or needed to be tended to. So I had to really take a deep dive and look at everything that was in my hands. That was one of the things that was in my hands. And I had to really sit down with myself and look at my numbers and look at where I was and look at what needed my attention in this moment. And I made the decision to discontinue my business, that part of my business, because I had to look at what I was committed to, which was my priority was my family. My priority was taking my son to different doctor's appointments, trying to get him settled in school and things of that nature. And it was taking a toll on how effective, or then I became not as effective, right? Because I was overcommitted to too many things. And I had to make the decision to take a step back and shut that business down. I could have taken it personal, but what I recognize is things come in seasons. And it's okay. It doesn't mean that it's a no forever. It's just a no for right now. And it can change. Okay? Does that make sense? That making sense to y'all? The third thing, as far as finding balance, is I want you to set clear boundaries with yourself, with others. And this is the one that I always say, and your emotions. We're talking about balance and boundaries tonight. So we're talking about balance, but let's talk about these boundaries. Again, a lot of times when we're overextending ourselves and trying to figure out how to navigate this thing called life, it's because we don't have clear set boundaries. I put boundaries not just with myself or with others, I put boundaries with myself. But not only do I put boundaries around myself and around others and how they engage with me and how I allow them to engage with me, I also put boundaries around my emotions. I shared that with a group of women last week when I facilitated a session at the Chit Chat retreat. You all on here know what I'm talking about. And I often talk about when it comes to my emotions, it's okay to have the different emotions because we know that there are different emotions associated with what we're going through in certain moments in our lives. But there are certain emotions that are truly draining. And if we allow it, they will drain the very life out of us. And because we don't set boundaries on our emotions, that will take a toll on what you can and what you have committed to. So if I'm going through something and I'm in a place of sadness, we all know that we all experience different type of emotions, and all emotions are okay. God gave us emotions for a reason. But I always like to share when it comes to emotions is this, especially when it comes to those emotions that have the negative connotation behind them. And one of my friends shared this with me several years ago. She said, Matee, when I think about sadness and all of the things and those type of negative emotions, I think of it like an Airbnb. Those emotions are okay, but just like an Airbnb, they're not designed for you to stay there. They're just designed for you to visit. And so many times in life, we are paralyzed and we stay stuck and overwhelmed because we have not put boundaries around our emotions. It's okay to be sad, but then it's like, okay, Matee, I'm gonna give yourself today. I may even give yourself tomorrow, but by the third day, I'm gonna need you to wrap this up because we got things to do. Because all of you all who are on this call tonight have purpose. It may feel like you may be all over the place and I can't quite get my footing. I can't quite get my bearing. I don't know why I'm here. Get rid of the mindset of I have to be doing something. You don't always have to be doing something. What you have, what's in front of you is what you have been called to do in this moment. And that can change from day to day, from month to month, from year to year. Think about when, as you transition with your children, when they're, if you have children, when they're babies, there's a certain level of commitment. When they become toddlers, it's a different level of commitment. When they become a middle age and they're in that middle elementary, then going to middle school, every phase in life requires something different. What you did in the baby phase is not the same thing that you do when they're in elementary school. What you do in the elementary school stage ain't the same that you do in the high school stage, and so on and so forth. The way that you engage it is different. And the same thing happens with the commitments that we have. Today, this may be a good idea for you based upon what you are committed to and what has committed itself to you. 5 years from now, it may be different, and that's okay. Am I making sense? So we want to set clear boundaries with others, with yourself, and with your emotions. Number four, this is one that I want y'all to really think about. Number four is being okay with saying no. I've seen it so many times in memes that no is self care. And for a lot of people, it really is. Being able to say no and take your rest and say no gives you your power back. A lot of you all are connected to people and things that have drugged you to the ground because you cannot say no for whatever reason, whether it's because of a physical commitment, whether it's because of an emotional commitment, whether it's out of guilt, whatever it is, take your no back. Take your no back. It's a complete sentence. It should be done without apology and explanation. There are some things that you just have to say no to. And often it's because we are so overwhelmed with life, the things that's in our hands, that we don't even have the strength to say no. But my prayer for everyone on this call is that God gives you the strength to prioritize what's needed and necessary in this season of your life. That you can say no and you can make the main thing the main thing. Now, I want, when we think about saying no, I don't want y'all to think like this is a no, like you being rude. This is not a no, you being, I'm not doing no. We're not talking about that. We're talking about this is what I've committed to, and this is what I have to do. I'm gonna give you another example, y'all. If anybody's ever been in class with me, they know that I always love examples. Um, just recently, I was asked to do something, right? And it was funny because I had I was going about, and I'm gonna tell you why boundaries are so necessary. On Wednesday nights, my commitment is to take my daughter to dance. Oftentimes, my husband is at work in the evening, or just getting off when it's time for her to go to dance. So that's my commitment. That's our thing. He does pick her up too, or drop her off, but that's my thing. And I normally have my son, right? And so a few weeks ago, one of my friends asked me, "Oh, Mattia, I need you, or can you? Not I need you to." And again, I shared this with a few ladies the other week. Um, Mattia, can you do my daughter's hair? And I said, "Oh, okay. When? On Wednesday. It's a special event, and I really need her hair done." Da 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 da. Because of my compassion, I would have said yes, right? However, I always say, this is my thing too, just a sidebar. Pause. Everything don't require an immediate response. Sometimes we're moving so fast that we end up overcommitting ourselves, which again leads to stress and leads to overwhelm. I paused. I said, let me read this message one more time. And I could have said yes, but then my commitment and my priority said, Matia, it's a no. It wasn't about being mean. It wasn't about being rude. It was about, I know that I've committed to taking my daughter to dance on Wednesday nights, and that's just what I do. I'm going to tell you what happened in my obedience and commitment to my no. So that evening, I normally drop my daughter off. It's also my self-care evening. I drop my daughter off for dance. I go to the Y to do my workout. My son goes to the little play area. We get him, we go back, we pick her up, we go on home. That evening, the same evening she had asked me to do her daughter's hair, I said, no, I'm not gonna be able to do it. I ended up doing the same thing. Dropped my daughter off, went to the Y, whatever. So as I am wrapping it up, picking my son up from the little kids area, I end up talking to the young lady who was over the children. And I'm talking to her, and she's like, oh, yeah, Zach told me he's in the school system, yada, 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 and this, and that, and the other. I said, oh, I said, okay. She said, yeah, I work in the school system too. I said, oh, that's amazing. So we get to chatting, and she says, I said, yeah, I said, it's funny. I said, we just been going through a whole lot. I said, we're trying to get him an IEP. We're trying to make sure, we got everything in place. And she said to me, she said, oh, you need help? If you need help, let me give you this person's phone number and let me connect you with this person. And do you know this person? Oh, let me give you that information too. She connected me with some of the people that would help me in this process that I've been struggling with for the last 3 years with my son. Had I made a commitment that was outside of what I am committed to, I would have missed the opportunity, because the thing is, I said to her, I said, where you been? I haven't seen you in a long time. She said, oh, I don't really work here that much. I only work here maybe once a month, if that. So when you stay committed to what you're committed to, you end up reaping the benefits and the blessings behind it. Don't ever let anyone or anything bamboozle you into doing something outside of your commitment that you have in your hand at this time, in this moment. So let me go back to setting boundaries. Let's keep talking about that real quick. I'm gonna tell y'all, because I love y'all. I love me some examples. Let me tell y'all something else. Setting boundaries. When you talk about setting boundaries with others, I never forget when I was pregnant with my daughter, and my husband and I had made an agreement that we had certain goals we were trying to meet. And one of the goals was I wanted to pay off my car at the time. And so he's like, Matia, we want to pay this car off because, once we pay this car off, we don't know how long you're going to be out of work. The anticipation is, the 6 weeks or whatever. But just in case something, goes around, we don't need no extra bills. So we were really committed and focused on paying my truck off. So in the midst of that happening, or within the month of that happening, me being pregnant, one of my friends, it was her birthday, and it was a big birthday for her. And I never forget, she called me and she says, Matia, I want to go on this trip. It was like to New York. So it wasn't like, crazy out the country, but it was something that I could have done. And she said, well, it's only going to cost this amount. It's only going to cost that amount. And I said, okay, that's cool. Let me check with my husband. And my husband reminded us, Matia, we've committed to this goal. This is boundaries, right? We're committed to this goal. The goal is to pay this off in this amount of time. So I went back to my friend and I was like, girl, I ain't going to be able to go. She's like, Matia, I can't believe you don't have, I don't know, just say it was $500. I can't believe you don't have $500. I never said I didn't have $500, because I really could have gone. But it wasn't about that. It was about me setting clear boundaries. Number one, respecting the commitment that me and my husband had, right? As well as staying laser focused on the goal that we had set. And she kept, and it was so crazy. And it's almost like she was testing me, like testing my gangster, like for real. Because she's like, I mean, really, Matia, $500 going to set you back? I'm like, I'm not saying it's going to set me back, but what I do know is this is what I've committed to in this moment. And I'm going to stay committed to that. It was hard, it was difficult, but at the same time, when we paid that truck off in exponential amount of time, we were high-fiving each other. And I really believe we were able to do that, not just because we were saving money, but we really, truly were laser focused and we were committed to what we were committed to. You'll reap the benefits. Okay. I hope y'all, I know this is, y'all not, I know y'all are on mute. So I know you can't give me no, y'all know what I'm trying to say. So number 5, this is the 5 keys, because I gave y'all 5 keys. This is number 5. Give yourself grace when things don't go as planned. I want you to give yourself grace. And I'm going to tell you why. Oftentimes, things don't go the way that we plan. And what ends up happening is guilt creeps in, disappointment creeps in, sadness creeps in, and then it paralyzes us, and then we do nothing. If you go into it saying, you know what, this is the things that I have committed to, I may drop a ball. Think about the juggler. As many times as they practice putting a chair in, putting a ball in, putting a bowling pin in, putting all these different items, not just balls, and they throwing in all kinds of stuff, water bottles, whatever, putting it on, and they're juggling. Sometimes they drop things, but the show don't stop. The show keeps going. They pick those things up and they keep throwing them. Give yourself grace when things don't go as planned. It's not the end of the world. And when you take a step back and look at the grand scheme of things, think about how many things that you beat yourself up over because they didn't go as planned. They didn't work out the way you thought. It didn't mean it was a failure. It didn't mean any of that. It may be that you overcommitted yourself. It may mean that it just was. One thing that Brian and I often say is we always say, this is the things that we do, this is the things that we know, but there are things that just happen, what we call our life happenings, that are just beyond our control. And we always factor those things in all the time. We're like, okay, this is what we plan, but sometimes life just be lifing, and we just gonna have to adjust as life lives. And that's okay. But when you know that those things could possibly happen, it doesn't mean that you allow it to paralyze you, but when you know that they could possibly happen, it gives you another sense of strength. So when it does happen, it doesn't overwhelm you. Does that make sense? So now I want you all, if you want to come off mute, if you have any questions so far, and I want to keep going. But if you have a question or something.
I do have a question.
Yes.
Mattia, this is absolutely phenomenal. The one thing hold on, let me put my camera back on.
Okay.
Let me see. Okay, there I go. Okay. The one thing that resonated with me when you said that I don't have a problem with saying no, but without explanation. Lord have mercy. Now, I need you to go a little bit deeper, because especially when people say, I'm waiting for your reason why. And how can do you mind giving me some verbiage on, is the answer is no, because I said so. I can't, I just, this doesn't work for my family. So, right. How can I, without an apology, being firm, being respectful, being cordial, but I just need a little bit more on the without explanation.
Yeah, I think that one thing that I've had to learn is, of course, just like anything else, you know how people often say it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So, like I said, it's not a pass for us to be rude or nasty to anybody. But if somebody asks me to do something and I know and it could be for whatever reason, I had to come to the resolution that it is not my job to explain to you how I feel in this moment. Because the reality is, it just may be that I don't feel like going. And to be honest with you, that is something, and I think, and I mean, this is not, I'm just going to go there because it is what it is. It is something that I truly have had to pray about and ask God to give me the strength to do, because people will try to manipulate you. You have to see stuff for what it is. People will
Right.
try to
Amen.
manipulate you. People will
Mm-hmm.
try to take advantage of you, and people will try to use who you are and to twist that for their own personal gain.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to see things also, oftentimes for myself, I can't speak for everybody on the call, not just through what I see, but also through a spiritual lens. And when I
Okay.
take a step back and I take a pause, I have to say, and the other thing too, Carissa, I say no unapologetically. It's not like, no, I'm not doing that. It's like, you know what? I'm not gonna be able to do that. Well, why? I mean, you mean you can't? I can't in this moment. And if it makes it, and I had to kind of ease into it. So sometimes I may, in the beginning, I would say, you know what? Let me read. Let me circle back. Let me think this through. I need a parking lot that, and I'll come back. And sometimes that softens the blow,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it makes me feel a little bit better. Even when my husband and I may talk, or we may have a disagreement or whatever, or he not even disagreement, but if he's asking me a question, not even a disagreement, but if he's asking me a question and he's like, "Well, what do you think we need to do?" And da 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 da, I'll say to him, "You know what, Brian? I need a minute to process what you just said." And it's all
It's true.
about
Mm-hmm.
creating. The thing is, people, you have to make people respect you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to
Mm-hmm.
set the expectation of how you want to be treated. People will only treat you how you allow them to treat you. And sometimes, I'll be honest with you, it is a unlearning of how they engage with you. And it does take time. It's not something that I've mastered, overnight. It took a lot of time, a lot of courage. I often talk about courageous conversations. It takes all of those things. And sometimes it's just like, you know what? Why do I owe you an explanation? Because I don't. What am I explaining myself? Because one thing that I have learned, that people gonna do what's best for them. And I had to learn that the hard, not, I won't even just say the hard way, but at the end of the day, when you take a step back and you look at how people often engage with you, they're gonna do what's best for
Mm-hmm.
them every time.
That's true.
And
Because at the end of the day, sometimes the explanation is overwhelming.
it's, oh,
It's,
exactly.
it's just too much. You're going back and forth because you said this and I said that. Wow, we're adults, but I mean, it's just almost, to me, it's just petty that I
Hmm.
have to explain myself to you, and so it goes deeper, especially if it is, someone that is of your senior,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
so, but this is different. I don't want to take much time. Thank you so much.
No
Appreciate
problem.
those words.
Absolutely. So now what I want you guys to do, because I love engagement, um, is this. I want you to write down three things right now that are a priority in your life. What's a priority in your life right now? And as you're writing that
Is
down,
that any particular order or just the three
mm-mm,
things?
nope, just three
Okay.
things. And you may have more, but I just want you to write down three things that are a priority in your life right now. Not yesterday, not last week, not last month, but what at this moment, what is a priority in your life? And as you write down those things, I'm gonna give you about 2 minutes to do that. And then I want to make sure that I have enough time for you all to ask questions as well. As you're writing those things down, because I want to make sure that I'm, very, I don't want to take up too much time. As you write those things down, what's a priority in your life? These are the things that I want you to think about. Number one, is it really a priority? That's number one. Because oftentimes, what we think is a priority, it really isn't. It's not. It may be somebody else's priority that they put on you to make a priority. It really is. It really is. So I want you to. I always say, and I say this to my son all the time. It's a joke that we have at the salon. People, the girls are like, Mattia said, pause, take a step back, think about, like, that's the main thing. Pause, and let's think. Is it really a priority? The second thing I want you to think about is, am I having to compromise anything to make this a priority? Compromise is not necessarily a bad thing, but compromise can be a bad thing, depending on what you really are committed to or should be committed to. And sometimes this rings true when you're in a situation where you're like, should I be doing it? Should I not? I don't really know. The question I often ask myself when I'm in a situation where I'm a little unsure, I always think about the quote that says, what you compromise to keep, you will ultimately lose. So if I'm compromising to keep a relationship that I may not even supposed to be in, at the end of the day, it probably ain't gonna go well anyway. Think about relationships that you've been in that you prioritized. And when you look back at it, you were like, we ain't even together no more. I made you a priority, but should I have even made you a priority? The third thing I want you to think about is, what do I need to do right now to take care of the priority right now? Oftentimes we get overwhelmed and we get out of balance because all we can focus on is the end. And because the end seems so great, we can't focus on what the steps are to get to the end. But in this moment, what do I need to do right now to take care of that priority? I want you all to ponder on those things and think on it. So when you think about that, I want you to think about also, where do you fall short or where do you miss the mark? Is it that you're committing? Are you afraid to say no? Or this one, are you busy just trying to keep up with the Joneses or the social media influencers? Who are you trying to impress? Have you really committed to something that really aligns with what I talked about at the beginning? What is a priority right now? What's a priority right now? It can change, but right in this moment, what is a priority? Have I overcommitted myself? I'm going to give you an example. Y'all know I love a good example. The other day, my daughter and I were talking, and I was asking her about a group that's online, at her school, right? And so I said, Zaya, they have a little track thing. You want to do that? I just had one of those proud mom moments. And she said, Mom, when I think about it, I'm already in dance. I do that twice a week. I'm there till late. We already have this. I got more work in school. Da, da, da. I just don't think that I'll be able to give it my all if I commit to that and what I currently have already registered I've already registered for. I really had a proud mom moment because I was so proud of the fact that she recognized that my commitment right now is what is in my hands. I'm not getting ready to add all this other stuff. We oftentimes, I keep going back to it, get overwhelmed because you're committing to stuff that's not a priority in your life in this moment. It is not for you right now. And that is something that you really have to think about and really take into consideration. And let me say this, really ask God to help you. Lord, what is it that you desire for my life for right now? What am I supposed to be committed to? Because we got our hands in a lot of things, and they may not even be that they're bad things, but this is not something that you need to be committed to in this moment. You need to really sit down and really ask God for clarity. What should I be committed to right now? The next thing I want you to think about is this: you are only as powerful as those that you're connected to. Stop trying to do life alone. A lot of y'all are out of balance because you have this superwoman hero syndrome that you feel like it's this sense of accomplishment or a badge on your chest because you're doing it yourself. Oh, I made this. I did this. But that ain't even the way life was supposed to be designed. You stressing yourself out, you stretching yourself thin because you won't open up your mouth and ask for help. There are people who are out here who have been assigned to you to help fulfill the purpose that God has placed in your life. It was never meant for you to carry it all alone. There are people who can help you. Even when you think about, and I won't say something as simple as, but something as simple as, maybe it is even taking my daughter to dance. Maybe it's somebody in my neighborhood who I've befriended, who I feel like I can trust because we've built a rapport, and I'm ripping around all over town when God is like, just open up your mouth. James, she live next door. She can bring Zay home, or whatever it is, whoever it is. We have to get out of the mindset that we're supposed to do everything by ourselves and all alone. That is not the design for our life. Lean in to help. I don't care what the memes say, what the people say, how many stars you feel like you getting on your chest because you did this, I made this. You never know how many other doors could open up for you and how many deep breaths you can really take if you release control. Because going back to this thing, I can't let it go. It can be a spirit of control. You want to control a situation. So then you acting like a mini God. That ain't his will for your life. He's put people in your life to help you carry out your purpose. I hope y'all are getting something out of this. I want y'all to assign some timelines and dates to the things that you need to take care of and what you are committed to. Again, we get overwhelmed because we don't put a date on something. We just out here, whenever we get, if you feel like you can actually, when you can actually see where you can check a box, it helps. Then you can take that juggle out of the equation. But because we're so overwhelmed with so many things we've committed to, we don't even have an opportunity to stop to say, oh, I should have stopped that one a long time ago. Oh, the expiration date on that one was a while ago, and I'm still juggling. I'm still juggling. It's like, God, what is in my hands in this moment? In this moment right now, I know my daughter's in dance. The end date is June the 1st. Boom. I know right now I'm trying to build my business. I know I need to get my letter out. I need to get my whatever, my VIN numbers or not. What I got a date. I got a date. I got a date. Put a date on it. It helps. And the last thing is I want y'all, like I said, and I've already stated it, pray and ask God for wisdom and for direction. The stuff that I shared tonight, it's simple. It's stuff that you probably already know. But sometimes hearing it from somebody else to put things in perspective, like, oh, because life is going life. It just is. But when we could take a step back and say, you know what can I commit to right now? And it may mean that I got to shut something down today so that I can flourish and grow in this other area of my life. Because there are areas in your life that is stagnant, that is not growing, because you're trying to tend to too many different lawns at the same time. You trying to water your lawn, you trying to plant somebody else's flowers, you trying to water the grass of your neighbor. You're doing too much. What's in your yard? Tend to your roses. What's in your garden? You can't worry about everything else. Once you've mastered what's in your hand, then maybe you can start entertaining other things. But until that time, let's focus what's in our hands. We are almost at 9:30. I know I gave y'all a lot to probably ponder on, think about. And I wanted to be able to open up the floor to questions or comments. Um, and I hope something that I shared tonight resonated with you and that you can take this, it will take root in your heart, and that you can truly live the life that God has ordained for you. It doesn't mean that it'll be without struggle. It doesn't mean that you're going to be exempt from trials and tribulations. It just means that I'm going to prioritize what's in front of me right now. And I'm going to work on that. And everything outside of the bubble, it'll work out in its own time. But where I am, this is what I've committed to, and this is what I'm going to master. Did y'all get something out of that? Y'all can take yourself off mute. Anybody have a question,
Yes,
comment?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Good. Thank you. Thank you. Who was that? I can't see your name on there. Thank you. Anybody have any questions or comments or anything you want to share, add?
I really like what you said about giving things a timeline.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we have that season of just a bunch going on, and it feels very detonating, like it's never over.
Mm-hmm.
So being intentional about there is an end date to this situation, I think it just helps you to kind of get through things a little bit better. So I really like that tip. I'm going to use that.
Thank you, Morgan. Thank you. Anybody else? I hope I didn't bore you guys. I hope it was okay
Not
for you.
at all. Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all, Patia.
Okay.
I have another question
Okay.
for bullet point number 3. And I don't know if I wrote this down wrong. To be clear on why you are here,
Mm-hmm.
or set clear boundaries on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Clear on yourself. Clear with your emotions. So to be clear on why you are here,
Mm-hmm.
that can't possibly be just one thing.
No. Mm-mm.
So I don't know. For me, I just think that that's just a lot to put.
Mm-hmm.
So after you figure out why you are here, then set boundaries to cover why you're here.
Exactly. So just say for
that season.
Exactly. So just say for an example, I know that in this season, well, not in this season until one of us goes on, but I know that right now I am committed to being Brian's wife, mothering my 2 children, right? I know that I'm committed to, of course, serving at Community of Hope Funeral Service, as well as doing my hair business. Those are the things that I've committed to. So that is why I believe that I was sent here on earth to fulfill the roles that I have in those particular areas. Again, it can always change, right? But this is what I've committed to in this season and in this moment in my life. This is what I have in front of me. That's why I was saying here to mother them, to be Brian's wife, to be able to fulfill my destiny through those things. So just say somebody says, "Oh, I want you to do, I don't know. Let me see what I can think of." When I say set boundaries, what I'm meaning by that is I'm not committing to anything that is not in direct alignment with my purpose. You're not getting ready to have me out here doing something that I know, number one, that would either compromise my integrity or that will compromise my ability to fulfill the roles that I've committed to. So that's when we talk about setting boundaries. I mean, and it can be that. So that doesn't necessarily mean that I just say I can't, go on a girls trip, or I can't do something that's, or if it's not connected to my kids or to my husband, I can't do it. And I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, if I know that I have certain commitments within those roles that I have that is going to compromise my commitment to those things, then I need to say no.
Nobody will never see me.
I think we're not talking about having a, if you want to go out with your friends or so, not like that. But a lot of times we overcommit ourselves to things that have nothing to do with why your purpose on earth. Like, you're not purpose. You out here doing stuff that has nothing to do with your commitment. And you're overextending yourself,
That's true.
so it's not that you can't go, I don't know, bike riding or go hiking or something. You do whatever you want. I'm not saying, live a boxed off, squared off life. But what I am saying is, we commit to all these different things that don't even have nothing to do with your purpose and what's in your hand. And then you find yourself overwhelmed because you didn't say yes to so many people and so many things. So just say, for an example, Carissa, with you, and I'm using this because of course I know you. So just say, for an example, you were on the PTA when your daughter was in the high school. Okay, so in this season of your life right now, your daughters are gone off to college. Now, does it mean that you can't still be involved in the PTA? But if it's getting ready to compromise EEP for you saying yes to the PTA that your kid is no longer even in school with, it's a no. It's a hard no. Right. And then people will try to manipulate you to make you feel like, oh, you were so amazing. We would love to have you back. Our ego is being, stroked. So we'll commit to that, knowing good and well you don't even have the time to do that.
Right.
You are no longer in that season anymore. Right. And you have to, even though it may have felt good and it was fulfilling, it may not serve you in this season of your life. And no, you're not there anymore. So we're still trying to commit to things that are no longer a ball in our juggling. Mm-hmm. That's a ball you should have taken out of the equation because you're not there anymore.
And I really love the example that you gave about the juggling, because there's been a time all the balls are on the floor. And then you become paralyzed because you dropped the balls.
Very true.
You don't want to get up. So this is, I need a part two.
Yeah.
This was absolutely invaluable. I'm telling you nothing. I have gained so many verbiage, and I love that I have the commitment. I apologize if that's out of my commitment for this season right now. Yeah. I'm telling you, honey, I love it. Thank you so much. I don't want to take so much time for other people. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you all so much for coming. I hate that I couldn't share my screen because I had a whole thing, and I don't know that I can. Is it? Yeah, I don't know how to do that. Okay, so I'll put it all out there. I would love for you all to stay connected with me. If you're following me on Instagram, it's Moments with Mattia. And I share a lot of things on there. I continue to share some things, just some practical living experiences and tips and things that have helped me navigate this thing called life. Um, I want people to feel like they are not out here by themselves. We are all experiencing life situations, and we need the support and the love and the encouragement of others. And so that is there. I want you all to follow me there. I also have an email list that I would love for you all to join in. I'm going to post all of that on my Facebook page, so you all will be able to do that, because it's not, I couldn't get the whole screen share thing going. So thank you all. Does anybody have any final questions? Because I want to let y'all go, because it is after 9:30, and I only want to keep you an hour. So does anybody have any final thoughts, questions, concerns before we say goodnight? No? All right. Well, I hope you all have a great night. Thank you again for joining. I appreciate your time, and I will see you all again in class. And you never know what's on the horizon. Thank you all for joining. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you,
Good
Matilda.
night. Thank you. Good job.
Thank you so much.